Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of Session View and a live project in Session View. So we're actually in Session View, we've got a few clips loaded. So there's a few ways that you can do this. You can kind of drag your drums into a clip, and then if you double click it will create a new clip, and then we can put some things in here. So we're just going to click the audition button. So as long as this is blue, you'll be able to hear the sound of the sample. So if I press play on this, it will launch that clip, and we kind of have scenes which are horizontal and clips are kind of categorized vertically. So this is SC, so this would be some drums, maybe sound effect stuff as well. Here's drums, arpeggios, warm pads, low pads, bass. So I'm going to include this project for you guys to play around with in the description. We'll delete that clip for now. And this is actually a remake of Latch by Disclosure. So I'm not sure if you guys know Disclosure, they're a really cool duo. They make some pretty nice tracks. This is a remake of their track Latch, and like I said, I'll include this project in the description for you guys so you can play around with it and have a better understanding with Session View. The shortcut to reach Session View is Tab, and if you're here, you're in Arrangement View, which we'll look at later in the next few lectures. And then if we press Tab again, we go to Session View. So what's really clever here is this project is labelled quite nicely. So you can click on the clips to see what's known as the MIDI track, and there'll be an arrangement of different sounds. And then here may be an instrument. So what you can do to label things, everything will be blank to start with, but if you right click and you do rename, this can be kick drum, for example. I misspelled that. And you'll label your clips according to what's actually inside them, so that's quite interesting. And you can also solo tracks in Session View. So soloing a track is by pressing this S button, and what that will do is it will isolate just one track. So if I press play now, you can see other clips are playing, and you can see from the volumes here, which you can turn up and down, it will just solo and isolate this kick drum. Whereas if I soloed this, we'd get this vertical layer playing, and if I solo here, I'm going to get the arpeggio, which you might recognise from the famous track. And then warm pads, some nice MIDI going on here, and then a low pad, very interesting. And if you are on Mac, you can press Command and click, and you can solo multiple tracks and turn them off accordingly. And then if you're on solo, you get the whole project again, and you just press the space bar, and then that will stop the clips. So yeah, just press the space bar. So the tracks have been renamed, so we've got quite clear labelling here: the bass category, the low pad, the warm pad, the arpeggio, drums. If we look to the master, we can actually launch a whole scene, and that will be the horizontal value of the scene. So the intro beat is going to launch everything in the first scene, so that'll be this box, this box, this box, this box, this box, and this box. So let's click it and see what happens. So as you can see, we've got the drums and the arpeggio playing. Here are the values for the arpeggio, and an arpeggiator is essentially a value of MIDI notes that alternate up and down, or they can go in a pinky, or it's totally up to the settings of the automation of the arpeggiator. So it may go up or down, and it just kind of goes normally in an eighth note fashion, or you can go half note or quarter note. But we'll look at arpeggiators in a deeper understanding later in the course, don't you guys worry about that. It's one of my favourite MIDI effects to use, and you'll see why later on in the course. So let's go back to launching scenes in this live project Session View. And you can see this is aptly named intro beat, and if we wanted a new scene here in between the intro and the verse, we can just right click and then insert a new scene. You can change the colour of that scene just by doing this, and you can capture and insert scenes. So if I wanted to get rid of this scene, I'd just click on it and backspace and it's gone. And this track is in, you know, chronological time order, so you got the intro beat, then the first verse and the breakdown, pre-chorus, chorus 1, chorus part 2. So it's a really interesting layout. And it kind of, you know, this is how a lot of DJs play live. They use Ableton Live. It's their door of choice for live sessions, which is a good choice. It's very reasonable and good. So we can also control the master volume here, so that will make the whole track quieter, the whole selection of clips here quieter. So let's press play on the master intro beat. Also, there's an arm button here, so if you wanted to do, you had a keyboard, you could do like a live performance, you just click arm and then record, and then that will trigger your notes to be recorded into a clip. So we do that, and then if I was to hit record, and that is exactly what will happen. So let's get into playing this intro beat. And then into the verse. That kick drum comes in with some nice layered drums. And you've got your warm pad here, and then we can go into our breakdown, which has that different arpeggio pattern, which is kind of alternating. You can see it's going up, 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 then it goes up and down, and then it goes into the pre-chorus. So we'll just launch that by clicking here, and you can kind of see how this would be used to play live. It's really interesting. We're now going to launch our chorus part 1. Yeah. That's where that bass comes in. And then we're going to move on to chorus part 2. Where the arpeggio comes back in. Sounds really nice. Got our kick drum, our drums, our warm pad, low pad, bass. So, what are the benefits of using this over arrangement view? This is cool if you want to arrange your track live, so you can literally perform your whole track, and as long as you've got record hit, when you go into the arrangement view, it will actually record what you're doing and turn that into a full project session in arrangement view, and then you can export that as a track. So let's do a live performance for you guys and see how that goes. So I'm just going to hit record. Something I can do is if I click over here, I can get a metronome to count me in, and I'm just going to have a 1 bar count in. So we can turn that off now, and we're recording. So if we press tab, you can see that the session is actually playing live. And then I'm going to press play on the verse, and we can see with our phrasing, every 8 bars something's going to happen here. And then we're going to get ready to press the breakdown at 17 bars. This is really fun. And awesome. So we're actually recording this track live. Sounds really good. Just gonna get rid of this loop. And we're going to get ready to go into the pre-chorus on the 25th bar. There we go, lovely. And that's recording everything. And on the 33rd bar, we're going to go into chorus part 1. Lovely. And then we've got the kind of chorus known as the drop, where it's just going to go for 32 bars, and then we're going to go back into the intro and build back up into chorus part 2. Or I can actually introduce that here. Yeah, nice. How cool is that? And that's why live is so fun for live performances. And we'll go back into the breakdown. And you can, and it goes into the breakdown. And the beauty of this is you can put tracks in these clips, so you can literally launch new whole tracks and stuff and just totally DJ with this using session view. And you launch the pre-chorus. And then 65th bar will go back into the chorus part 1. And I'm just launching clips here, and it's just working because the tracks are armed and I'm pressing record, so that's great. Very, very good. Very good Disclosure remake this, Latch. But I'll include this project for you guys to play around with, and you can kind of have a look at that. And then I'm going to go for this bit. Lovely. Let's just get more of that by highlighting so I can see more of the track. We'll go into another breakdown here, and this is actually showing you the song structure of the track. This is how a track is actually structured, so I'm just doing this live. But yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying this. It's going to be a great course. I'm really looking forward to teaching you all. Pre-chorus is going to come in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, hit that. Yeah, cool. And yeah, no, it's just good fun. And we're going to be looking over everything in Ableton, how to write successful tracks and stuff like that. We're going to go back into the chorus part 1 here. All I'm doing is one left click on these clips, and I'm launching the whole session, which is pretty cool. And launch this again. And you can kind of see the arrangement of what's going on here, and then I think we can use the intro for the outro, maybe a breakdown again, and then we'll work our way back down out of the track. Yeah, so we're doing a live performance of Disclosure Latch. Really cool, really good fun. And then I guess work our way back down. Work our way out of the track going backwards down the session view. So it's good to have this in chronological order because it makes things a lot easier for you to go in order of doing. So we're just going to go back to 1 now. And that's Disclosure Latch in a session. I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll just we'll long these ones out a bit more. So we'll just highlight that. And there you go, you've got your finished track. And what I did at the end of that was I just clicked, there was a little red triangle Dorito looking thing here, just click that. And then everything that you just recorded will come into the arrangement view, which looks like this, and that's what we'll be covering next. So I'll play this back so you guys can hear it, to see that the whole thing was recorded, and you can just open this up. And then what happens is, because this is an arrangement view, it's put all of our session into a, condensable 4-minute track. A track that we can listen back to and export. So if I wanted to export this, I would stop and then go to File, Export, and then you just click Export, and then we can call this Disclosure Latch Remake. And then you've got this box and it will export this track, so you actually get a finished track there. And we did that in a live performance in about, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, so 5 minutes. But yeah, it's you can perform it live, and I'll break down the song structure of this track actually once this is done exporting, and the reasons why I clicked stuff when I clicked stuff, because you guys might not know about phrasing. I think it's a good thing to know about Phrasing is basically things change every 8 or 16 bars in groups, and parts of the track will go away and parts of the track will come back later in the song structure. So this is exporting, and we'll go back into session view and I'll explain, why an intro is an intro, why the chorus is a chorus, why the build-up's the build-up, why the breakdown's a breakdown, and how to make effective song structure, because it's really important to make an engaging track and get listeners to like and enjoy your track and get some commercial success as well. So every 16 bars something's going to change. The first 16 is normally the intro, the next 16 will be the breakdown. So what we can do is, using this MIDI track here, musicworkflowacademy.com, we're just going to draw the song structure. So we've got the intro, build up, chorus. I think that actually looks more like that. Yeah. Which is fine, sometimes there can be an 8-bar difference, and then we've got breakdown. Let's leave the build up to there for now. And then we've got the breakdown. We can just make these different colours, so you can see that there's a difference in what's going on here. I'm actually going to make the chorus like this, because the chorus did actually come in here. And then we've got our breakdown, and then we've got another chorus, and then it looks like another breakdown, and potentially another chorus, then a breakdown, a shorter breakdown, and then an outro, something like that. So it all goes in 8 to 16 bars, because dance music has a 4 to the floor signature, 4x4. You can actually change the time signature here for other styles of music, but 4 to the floor is every EDM genre pretty much. There's a few that deviate from that, but don't worry about those. Outro, drum and bass, 4 to the floor. Let's go. Let's break this down. So we've got our intro here, which consists of drums, which you can see, arpeggio and a warm pad. We'll go back to session view. So this is the intro. It's the start because it's just introducing the track. So we just have a few elements from the chorus in the intro. So we've just got the drums and arpeggio here. Then we've got our first verse where a kick drum comes in and a pad to fill out the track a bit more. Then we've got our breakdown where 2 elements disappear, the kick drum and the drums, and then the arpeggiator. The arpeggio changes the MIDI notes, and then a low pad comes in to give more low harmonic content. And then we go into the pre-chorus where there's a kick drum, drums, arpeggio, warm pad and a low pad. Then we go into our chorus, which is the highest energy part of the track. We'll be going over this in more detail, don't worry, where we've got the kick drum, the drums, a warm pad, and then the bass finally comes in on the chorus. So if we just listen to this bass, which is really cool. And then we've got chorus part 2 where the arpeggio comes back in and then the low pad. So let's listen to chorus part 2 where everything's playing, and the complexity builds again to give that kind of development and storytelling of the track. So the intro, and then we could say this could be verse 1, just use the same terms as the template, but this is essentially the build up. So build up in just before the drop, and then we've got the chorus. And then if we wanted to split this like so, this is actually chorus part 2. It actually looks more something like this. So yeah, we've got chorus part 2, chorus part 2. Make those red. And yeah, it's basically, this is a more complex version of my template. So we'll stick with what I've got. It's basically the same thing, and there's just less kind of confusion there. So the chorus can be broken down into two parts with a more complex part for the second half of it, which is fine, which is what happens in this track. So if I go into this track, listen from the start again. And in arrangement view, you can actually see how these elements are made. So let's press play again. So you can see the intro here. And I'm going to draw this line, which some people find helpful. So if I was just to put, something on here, just so I could automate something, which we'll look at later again, just so, just to show you like how the energy of the track builds. Kind of have something like this, where the intro builds and then the build up, and then we've got like a breakdown again, which looks like that. And this is basically how the energy of the track goes. So we kind of, it increases, and then it's high energy in the chorus, and then the breakdown, and then some more chorus. And it actually builds in this track from the chorus, because there's a part 2 which comes in here. So I'll put chorus part 2, and I'll put that there as well, and there. And then you can see the breakdown of the track. And then yeah, so it basically builds, because the complexity actually increases during the second part of the chorus, and then the breakdown happens, and we've kind of got like, this is like the outro. So it's a shorter breakdown and then the outro. So let's listen to the whole track. Here you can see the BPM, the beats per minute of the track, the speed. And we're just following this line and how it's increasing and the energy's actually going up. So that build up was actually longer than I anticipated, which is good. That's the correct length of the build up. And then it just goes into the chorus. And then chorus part 2 comes along. Slightly higher complexity. Going to breakdown. Building up into that next chorus. I'm just following the energy of the track here. to slightly higher energy and then into the breakdown again. Nice, good stuff, guys. And those pads are just really carrying the track. And the arpeggio. Pre-chorus. So this could get broken up even more if you wanted. This could be the pre-chorus. It's just to build up to the actual chorus. Nice. And what I can do is I'll include this whole performance as well, so you can have the full performance of the track. I'll go back into chorus part 2. Breakdown, so you can see the energy goes back down again, and it just kind of gets carried out from the outro, something like that. Very nice. So I don't know about the values too much, just the line, follow the line, and then that's kind of the layout you want of a good track. That's it basically summed up. That's the outro. So that's how to make a track like Disclosure. Using the session view, I'll include this whole project for you guys to download, and you can have a play around with it, and we could maybe make that end bit a bit longer. Awesome, guys. Thank you for watching that one, and I'll see you in the next class where we're going to be talking about arrangement view.